Yeah,
Cool.
I was about to say, well, the when you said Holofront, I was like, I didn't think Holofront had 5 members, but okay. And then it was like, wait, hold on. These
Yeah,
are
math did not work with me right there.
math is hard. Math is hard.
All right.
Welcome to
Well,
the How to Survive a Breakdown podcast, everybody.
yeah.
My name is
Welcome to
Parker.
How to Survive
I'm
a Breakdown
joined,
podcast.
bitch.
Where
I
what?
was fucking introing that shit. Damn it.
Man, fuck you. Okay, we'll
Fuck
redo
you.
this.
Yeah,
Go
I'm
ahead.
gonna do it. Welcome to the House of.
Yeah. Okay. See, this is why.
I'm trying to say it too fast. I'm trying to say it too fast. That's the hard part.
Oh,
My brain works faster than my mouth does. That
hold on a
sounds.
second. I just realized I haven't changed your volume since last time.
Oh, yeah, I probably cut that down a little bit.
Yeah, I cut you down from 105 to 88. So
Okay, cool. I'm gonna move my mic over this way too, so it's closer.
well, that means I have to
All
lower.
right, let's try that. All right. Welcome to the How to Survive a Breakdown podcast. My name is Parker. I'm joined by Evan,
Hello.
and here we're just here to shoot the shit about everything metal and not metal, and yeah.
Yeah. So this week is going to be interesting.
Yes.
We will get to it at some point, but we have 4 albums to review. We have some singles.
Most of which I didn't listen to, but that's
Most
okay.
of which he didn't listen to, but we have a few that we did both listen to. I
Mhm.
listened to all of them because, except for the Amity Affliction one, because that one's not yet out. That should be out either tomorrow, because it's Sunday. It's Saturday evening right now.
Yeah.
Should be out either Sunday or Monday.
See, that's why I didn't listen to the singles. I was banking on us recording on Sunday, and it is 11:20 p.m. on a Saturday, which
To be fair though, I don't know how free I'm going to be at noon tomorrow because I might be doing a lot of stuff for work tomorrow.
so yeah. I mean, this is obviously fine. It's just I'm not going to have much to say when it comes to half the singles that we have. So
yeah.
okay.
So, how's your week been?
It's been fine. It's been good. It's been pretty standard stuff. Not much super interesting. So, how's your week been? This.
I'm trying
Anyways,
to also
sorry.
talk to you like a normal friend should because,
Yeah.
I mean, in our 4 years, we just have a goal when we talk on Discord and then we leave.
Yeah. It's
But
basically
might
like
as well actually try to
there's always a
develop
purpose.
this.
No, see, the issue is that, when I'm not good at that,
Oh, I'm
I
not
don't
good at
have
it either.
things to
That's the
say.
problem.
Then shit, why are we here? It's
I don't know why we're here.
a very good question.
So for the context of the podcast, I work as a long-term sub in 4th grade right now, and I just got a new class as of last week Wednesday. This class is it's tougher than my previous group I had. We'll put it at that. I am a lot more having to be hands-on, having to be right there with them. I cannot rest when they are there because I turn my head for 2 seconds and someone is screaming at another. They're on some stupid website that they shouldn't be on. Whatever. I mean, not inappropriate websites, but like basically they shouldn't be on like game websites when they're supposed to be doing work.
You mean they can't be on cool math games?
Or Math Playground or whatever other math websites. Yeah,
Man,
exactly.
fuck.
I think Cool Math Games actually bans, which is surprising.
Death of an era.
So I have a bit of a tougher class in theory, and it's been a lot of learning the kids because a lot of them have issues of varying kinds, whether academic, social, behavioral, or family or emotional issues. And it's learning them, getting to a new class, not really having anyone else come into the classroom, occasionally, but not much. And I just found out on Friday, well, I found out on Wednesday that I was getting a new student. They didn't tell me when. They didn't tell me who it was. They didn't tell me anything about the student. Friday morning, 10 a.m. You're getting a new student starting Monday, February 13th. And I'm like, well, fuck. I need to get this classroom ready. So I dropped nearly all of my academic plans to make everybody help me clean. And what we did was reorganized all of the book bins, reorganized all of the cabinets, their desks, the lockers, which, fun fact, a kid who was here left at the end of winter break, left his hat and gloves in there along with some food. So about a month had passed, and there was food in there. The kids were in charge of cleaning that up. I was not, which luckily I did not have to touch that or anything like that.
I hope that, well, no, they're not. I would say I would hope that they know not to eat that, but they are very much not that
Honestly,
young.
I wouldn't be surprised if one of them had eaten something of that form, but they were probably too grossed out.
I would hope so.
Someone would do it for money.
Funny story about that. I was at an abandoned trailer lot up in New Hampshire, and with a bunch of friends from school, and we were in one of the trailers, and there was like a thing of gummy worms. There was like 3 gummy worms on the floor of a trailer, and one of the guys was like, his name's Ben. He was like, "Yo, how much would you pay me to eat one of those gummy worms?" And I was like, "I'll give you $50 for it." And then he did it. And I gave him his $50, and he was like, "That I'm not sure that was worth it."
Okay then.
So I would not be surprised. I would absolutely not be surprised if someone was paid to eat, a month-old cheese or whatever. Like,
but yeah, basically Friday was absolute chaos, and the other part of it is I actually talked with the main teacher of the classroom, who's on maternity leave till mid-March, on Friday, and basically she is perfectly fine with me getting them folders for every subject, because they didn't have every single folder, because in the beginning of the year she couldn't really raise her heart rate. She missed the deadline for the order of school supplies, and they didn't have everything that she wanted. She couldn't order everything she wanted, so it resulted in them having like 3 folders for everything. Which, yeah. And before I was there, the building sub was in there, basically getting the kids' behaviors fixed. And now I'm working on the organization and structure of the room, because I need to be able to function in there. And I want them to feel at ease, that they have the folders they need and everything. So this weekend has been... I went to Staples. I found no folders that were cheap and or the ones I wanted. Went to Walmart. They had red, black, dark blue, green, and a little bit of purple. That's it.
And that was it. Yeah.
Like, no offense. I need 8 folders of different colors. I already have red and blue.
For every kid.
I got the black and green ones. That was all I could grab. Grabbed every single one of the green and all the black. And I feel like I have none, so I ordered like another $40 worth of folders
from like online.
Amazon. They're coming tomorrow. So so while I'm watching the Super Bowl, I'm going to be labeling folders and then planning for the entire school week, because
you're going to have to do it all in one day instead
unironically
of like,
committed I am.
A whole week.
While I was having chaos go around, I did actually listen to songs.
Nice.
There were a couple that stuck out because I may have listened to them a few times.
Yeah.
The first one I want to talk about, that we've already talked about a couple times ourselves, is Brand of Sacrifice's Bounty. It's new single. I don't know if it's an official like album release yet, but this song I've listened to, I think, 6 times at this point. And it came out like last Wednesday, because we watched it.
Yeah, that was, we watched it after we recorded that first episode.
Oh, that's right, we did.
Yeah, I haven't gone back to it since then. I'm not gonna lie, but I've also been like trying to do album listens.
Yeah.
So
I think Exodus's chorus is definitely better than this chorus because honestly, it showcases clean sings in a deathcore heavy breakdown song, which is really interesting. Hold on one second. My cat, of course, is trying to get back in. Hi, you want to come in? Or are you just gonna stand at the door?
He's gonna stand in the door, and
she's waiting for me to go back up on the bed to play with her.
Nice.
One of these days, I'll add a video of her attacking my feet somewhere.
Was that was that Fluffernutter? Or was that
Fluffernutter?
Let's go Fluffernutter.
So anyway, Brand of Sacrifice, Bounty. I really like the song.
The one time I listened to it was great.
What's up?
The one time I listened to it, it was great.
I really enjoy the finale 3 breakdowns. Like it's like super disgusting breakdown into breakdown into small chorus breakdown, and it's like this is just nutty, just consistently insane at the end. Linkin Park officially have released Lost, which is an unreleased demo track from the Meteora era, which, by the way, it's not Meteora. I always thought it was. It's Meteora.
Yeah, it's Meteora.
Which features Chester singing on a track that was supposed to be just a demo for that specific era in time. They also released an animated music video with the release of the song as well. And I don't think I've ever seen the metal community as positive and happy as with this song.
Right.
Like Twitter, I did not find a single negative comment. If it was negative, it was, this was definitely the era of the time that we expected. And if that's the most negative comment that could be made about a Linkin Park song being released in 2023, as Nick Nocturnal put it, that's how much of an impact this band had on the entire scene and everybody in the scene, because everybody started with a little bit of Linkin Park in their life before they go into the metal scene.
Right.
Honestly, I Prevail's latest album reminds me a lot of what Linkin Park was, and they're just trying to modernize that sound itself. So,
like, kind of to our era, what Linkin Park was to theirs, type of thing.
Yes. Yeah. They I don't think they have the same reach yet.
No, they don't.
But I think that when a band gets to the level of Linkin Park popularity, and it's hitting like radio friendly but also metal friendly, that's what's going to be, that there's going to be a day in metal when that happens, and it's going to be kind of crazy. Bring Me the Horizon almost got that.
Yeah, Bring Me is close.
Yeah,
but I did actually manage to listen to this track.
And what did you think of it?
So it was good. Obviously it being one of the, odds are probably one of the last ever times we're going to hear Chester on a release is incredible. I don't have that Linkin Park nostalgia. I didn't really grow up with Linkin Park. I haven't gone and checked out their music yet, really. The band itself doesn't have that grip on me, I guess you could say. But obviously just knowing what the band and what he meant to people is sick, and is just a great, story to it. And that much I can respect regardless of whether I like the music or not. And I like the music. It's not anything, mind-blowing to me. It's good. And that's about all I have to say on it. Like, it's definitely something I could see growing on me. It's definitely something I could see myself going back to, but it's not immediately like, in my top listens of the week. Like,
It
so.
is funny with a band as influential as Linkin Park,
Mhm.
because bands have modernized that sound so much, of
Yeah.
that like Linkin Park chorus, the Linkin Park out like right after. Linkin Park from that era honestly just sounds like, okay, this is good, or this is just
Yeah.
like, this is okay now compared to what I've
Mhm.
listened to now, because it's like it's all been refined, it's all been perfected as much as possible. And it's funny because to me, who grew up on Linkin Park as one of my favorite bands of all time,
Mhm.
um, this is just such a beautiful track for me,
Yeah.
and this is an amazing track.
Mhm.
I can completely understand why you would say this is like a very standard good track. Like,
Yeah.
this is exactly a standard rock radio friendly track, but
Yeah. And it's definitely like, I kind of, I mean, you saw this with Devil Wears Prada's Roots Above, Branches Below.
yeah.
Like, classic metalcore record. Like, everybody recommends it when it's like,
Hmm.
what do you go to check out to see the basis of the genre as we know it today? You get with Roots Above, Branches Below. I wasn't that huge on it for a couple listens. Like, I still have a hard time getting into it.
Hmm.
And I think that's mostly just the era that it comes from. That's
Yeah.
kind of the era that this is coming from, and I'm having the same issue. And I think that's mostly just because I'm coming into this type of music now rather than back then.
Yeah. I If I had started a few years earlier than just with Slipknot and Bullet for My Valentine,
Yeah.
I would have had early Sleeping with Sirens, early 2010s, like August Burns Red. I would have seen all of that
Yeah.
before my college years, which realized, oh, I missed all of these bands and albums back in this time. I mean, I found a
Right.
few during this time, but um, it, I mostly stuck with my roots. I didn't
Mhm.
really expand much. I was
Yeah.
very stubborn about expanding. But seriously, it is wonderful. Lyrically, this song actually kind of hits a little bit harder than
Mhm.
quite a few on the Meteora era, because if you well, when you go back to uh One More Light, their last album they made,
Yeah.
that is a lot about the mental issues that Chester faced, and a lot of like the just general scars and trying to be happy that happens. And it I think just Chester, I think it was one of the lines was that when I'm in my head I'm lost. I think it was like the
Yeah.
lead into the chorus, and
Mhm.
it just really hits because no matter how much support that he got on Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, everywhere he went, because he was Chester Bennington,
Yeah.
he still committed suicide back in 2018.
Mhm.
And I think that's for me why this hits a little bit harder than
Mhm.
other songs on that same album that
Yeah.
in theory should have hit as hard. But
Mhm.
if this had been released as one of the songs, this would have been like easy top few. I would have loved it.
Mhm. Yeah, I say, and even just when listening to it, it's like, even, like, just with the benefit of hindsight, like, this hits a lot harder, I think, than it would have, because Meteora was what, like, 2003,
2002,
2002. Yeah,
I
so because
believe.
this was for its 20th anniversary, so yeah, like, um, yeah, just knowing what we know now, like, yeah,
And I'll say this one last thing before we move on. Uh, I'll just say this now. This has to be a top 5 song for me by the end of the year.
yeah,
I will probably put this on repeat consistently, Like, this is going in right next to the metal playlist, right alongside Paleface, Chelsea Grin, Make Them Suffer. I don't care. I'll listen to this song every day of the week. And speaking of, I had my main playlist on shuffle today, and I decided to listen to one Paleface song. They weren't on our 2022 lists, but the intro song and the preceding song, Parker and I both agreed was the best and creepiest and most intimidating intro and second song to exist, period.
The intro itself is fucking crazy.
I literally told him, I said, stop what you're listening to, listen to the first two songs of Paleface, and tell me what you think. And we both just said, okay, we'll never listen to those again, period. Good, let's move on. Anyway,
I did go back and listen to it for my 2 album listens, and each time I physically was like, this is a rough listen.
Yeah.
Like, it's.
And but I listened to one song from them that came on.
Mm-hmm.
I was good. I'm good for another 2 months on them. So
we filled the Paleface quota.
Yep.
Which, good band, good music.
Yeah.
Very, very angry, very heavy. And it's very, when they put out an album that's like an hour, 10 minutes or something like that, it wasn't that quite that long, but like,
yeah.
It's definitely hard to listen to for that amount of time. Oh yeah, well, I'm thinking about it. We had a top 20 albums or top 30 albums list. We should do a top like 30 songs list as well. I think that would be good
for the end of the year.
Yeah, like an end of year.
Not this past year, of course, but
no, obviously not.
Yeah. So yeah,
but for this year,
let's do top 20 for songs. Yeah. Top 20 or 30 for albums, depending on what we think.
Depending on how much we listen
to. We're probably gonna listen to a lot. So,
probably.
Actually, speaking of disgusting, I know you didn't listen to it, but I want to talk about Vela Maya Godhead.
And I've heard very good things about this.
Yeah, this is. Let's just say this is like insane. I for my notes I wrote literally so disgusting it works. I always did enjoy the more metalcore-ish sound they had, but we'll never mind heavier Vela Maya because they always did it really, really well.
Right.
I believe. Have they announced an album? I don't think so. I will double check.
I don't think they did. Because this is the first one we've had from them in a bit, right? If I remember correctly.
So they had Godhead. It's been a second.
Yeah.
It has been a second.
Would this be like a lead single, I guess? Yeah.
No, because they had Synthwave Vegan last year. Here we go. Godhead, Synthwave Vegan. And Synthwave Vegan was April 20th, 2022. So it's like a second single at this point.
Honestly, I feel like there could be like just a separate. Well, why else? Going 10 months between singles, though, seems kind of off if you're in an album cycle. But
well, considering that they have like another 4 singles that I wish had been part of this album cycle. Yeah.
They've had more singles previous to even to.
Yeah, they had Viscera, which I love that song so much, but it's not even on like the list of songs from the. Because when singles are supposed to like be combined together for an album, they start to like put them in the same thing.
I hate that. Just have
I don't
be
mind
the single. I don't. It's I really like it, honestly. I understand not wanting to like have different art and whatnot, but
yeah,
I don't know if that's Spotify doing it or if that's the bands, but I don't
know. And another disgusting track that we checked out last week, we saw the music video for, was Invent Animate and their song Immolation of Nights.
This is, you and I were both very high on this because we were at they played this at the show that we were at,
Yes.
and it fucking slapped.
I thought that it was insanely disgusting and it better be the next single like then. And this was
Mhm.
back in mid-December and we only had to wait like a month, which was quite nice. Um and it is exactly as heavy as I remember it, and it is as good as I remember it. I honestly really like Shade of Strike still so much more, but look, for breakdown of the year, this is probably going to be like one of those contenders.
I honestly think I like it more than Shade of Stray at the moment, and I fucking love Shade of Stray.
Okay, I look, Shade of Strike got me into really loving Invent Animate.
Yeah.
So for me, it's Shade of Stray. For you, who's already been familiar with them for a while,
Mhm.
you're liking this more though. In the middle track in all of this is Elysium, which
Which
is
is also
is
a
still
very,
good.
very good track. But
Yeah.
I went back and listened, gave it a couple listens after Immolation of Night came out, just to remind myself, and I was like, no, this is actually better than I thought I remembered it.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, it's like some of the riffs on this thing are great. Like the
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna try to do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, some of the riffs on this are incredible. The groove on it is great in certain sections. Um, Marcus sounds great. He sounds just excellent. Um, which I'm very glad that they brought they're bringing Landon in on these. I think I mentioned it to you, but they have Landon producing these tracks for them, or
Land
helping produce
Tours.
these tracks. Yeah,
Land Tours of the Plot and You, by the way. So that's nutty.
yeah,
That's
no, it's
insane.
insane.
And that
It
is a
sounds so
perfect
good.
fit.
It really is. It sounds incredible.
Actually,
And
you make a really good transition there because we have a new track from the Plot and You
oh yeah,
called.
before we fully transition
Oh
over
yeah,
to Plot
sorry.
New, I also just want to say that the music video on Immolation of Night is great, and I really like the middle section that translates that bridges between like the verse and the breakdown at the end.
Mm-hmm. That was really a really cool transition
Yeah.
between the two. Honestly, if they ever made like a full video movie on that, that would be really cool. Okay,
But anyway,
so the Plot in You left behind.
Left Behind.
According to you, this and Divide and some others are not going to be on a new album.
From what I've heard, yeah.
I am going to be upset if that is true because this is honestly, I love this more than Divide.
Really?
Really, I am in love
Okay.
with this song.
Mhm.
Um, Divide is still really, really good. I absolutely love the breakdown in that, but this just hits me in that right spot that I gotta stop yawning.
We
No,
we need to
seriously,
stop
just
recording at midnight.
it's such a good song. I absolutely love it. I haven't listened to it in like a day, but I
Mhm.
listened to it a good 5 times on Friday because it was that good.
Mhm.
If I had to like rank the songs this week, it was like Linkin Park, Brand of Sacrifice, The Plot on You. Like those are the top 3 for this week.
Okay.
Highest of recommendations for anyone watching. I don't know if this is on an album cycle or not, but
I hope it is. If considering when Swan Song released, and that was like end of 2021, I wouldn't be. That's why I'm not surprised to
yeah,
hear that it wouldn't be part of an album cycle, because Swan Song was so recent. But I hope it is.
to be honest, it should be on an album cycle and they should be releasing soon because
Yeah.
that would be really nice. Either
Mhm.
that or Landon release some more solo material. It would be nice.
Solo
Anything.
Landing? Yeah. Um, I don't think this is even honestly. I like it. I haven't probably given it enough time, but personally, this isn't close to Divide for me at the
Okay.
moment. I obviously can grow, but I love when it comes to Divide. I like just kind of how honestly how weird it is at certain spots. Like the breakdown sounds kind of it's like kind of, I guess, not like jittery. That's probably not the word. I probably need to give it another listen to make sure I to actually know what I'm talking about. But like the breakdown is cool and it sounds sick. The chorus flow, the way the chorus flows is great on that. Left Behind, I don't necessarily get some of that, and that's because it's, it's a more of a softer, more emotional track, and that's
Hmm.
okay. But I don't think it does enough to make me as interested in it as I was Divide.
Okay, that's
So
completely fair.
yeah,
Um, I think another part of it too is that we saw Plot and You live, and they played Divide,
yeah,
and it really, really hit me too because it gave me chills when he did the breakdown.
yeah.
So I don't know how it hit you, but
Oh no, it hit me just like that basically.
yeah.
Um, which I oh actually shit. You know what? Let's keep going. I'm gonna go buy tickets for that watch the Divide tour down in
All
New
right,
Haven.
well, then I'm gonna go on a track that you
Quick.
didn't listen to at all. So, Imminence, Jaded.
Oh yeah.
This is actually going to be a part of a deluxe album of their last album, Heaven and Hiding, from the beginning or end of November 2021. This is a really, really solid song, and I think when we were recording the first episode of the podcast, which, by the way, in that we will say it was the unofficial first/second episode. It really is the first episode. This is the true second episode.
Lied to you all.
On Twitter, there was leaks or like little sneak peeks of the song itself, and I was really hyped. But then in the post, that it was saying that it was going to be part of the deluxe album, including all the acoustic covers of the main singles of from Heaven and Hiding, which included Temptation, I think Heaven and Hiding, Alleviate, and I think one or two others. But I'm really upset that this is not part of a new album cycle, that it's just an extra song. I honestly don't think we're getting much from Imminence until 2024, which really upsets me, but at the same time, I am so happy because this year I think is seriously going to be stacked, especially March, which has like a good 30 releases. The list keeps growing from March alone.
Pretty
If
much.
you want numbers, let's see. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 albums in just our current upcoming list. Not even the ones that I probably should be adding to the list itself. So March is going to be stacked. We're in February. We have a month. It's going to be nuts till then. And yeah, so the only other thing that I'm going to talk about while Parker is still ordering tickets currently is the plan for the next episode, other than just like our weekly album release stuff. Actually, well, in relation to that, if there is a general downtime week, we will discuss some of the older albums that we have checked out, and
Yeah.
we will just like kind of fill the void a little bit with some extra stuff because we have plenty of albums to check out. We could talk about albums that we checked out from 2021, from 2020, from 1997, from 2000s, whatever. Whatever we feel like we're talking about that week, we will actually make a document with the list of what we plan to talk about each week. I have a plan for that to be made ASAP. I'm probably going to make it in a few days after this episode goes live, and then I will link it in the description of this episode or for the next episode. But long story short, next episode that we record will be discussing a lot of the early albums. We're going to be discussing Green Day, Nirvana, Stone Temple Pilots,
Yep.
and I think we'll save Pink Floyd for another day.
I haven't even touched Pink Floyd yet.
We have Pink Floyd on the list. They were technically in date order, the earliest. We added them after we started reviewing everything. But we're going to start with Nirvana, Green Day, Stone Temple Pilots from the mid 80s all the way up to the beginning of the 2000s.
Yeah.
We are not going to touch Linkin Park or Slipknot yet or Disturbed, but we will get to those in the one after that.
Basically, all of pre-2000 Green Day, right? Yeah, up to what?
Pre-2000s grunge and punk is really what we're going to be covering.
Just the tip of the 300 album pile that we've
400, yes,
that we've built for ourselves.
Yeah, the best part is that that's 400 albums from 2022 and prior, not even including what we're going to talk about in 2023.
Which that'll definitely be like 500 by the time we throw 2023.
Oh yeah.
Guaranteed. Just
so you understand, we already have 28 for 2023. Stuff we have unannounced. Well, there's some stuff here that's been announced, but there is 48 albums in here, or bands that we want to release stuff soon. So yeah, we have a lot to record, or a lot to talk about. We'll have plenty of time to discuss these things. Some of these things will be quick. I have a feeling that a few of the albums that we're going to review in the next episode will be quick and simple based on our rankings of them. But then there will be others that we will just have, like, in a sense, full arguments about.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
So,
I'm all set. I am officially booked for that. I can actually come back and join the podcast now. I can come back and
welcome
be
back,
a functioning member of this duo.
So, which album would you like to talk about first? Because we've got 4 different ones.
Probably the one I have the least to say about is In Flames. So if you want to start with that, get that out of the way quick.
Okay. So we are going to talk about In Flames and their album
Foregone,
which is their 14th album since they've been a band
I'm not adding the rest of the In Flames discography to the doc. I'm sorry.
No, I am not either, but even if I love this, I still wouldn't add 13 other albums.
Absolutely not.
But they've been a band since 1990. They've been described as melodic deathcore, metalcore, metal, groove metal. I'll let you start.
This thing is actually surprisingly catchy, honestly. Like, a lot catchier than I thought it would be, which is a good thing. That's very rarely a bad thing when it comes to me. Specifically, I think it was it was Meet Your Maker. I think it was like Meet Your Maker was one that stuck out to me specifically. Like a couple of the choruses on this thing are actually like very nice, and I enjoyed them a lot. It's also, it's well produced. They're on album 14. They know how to make an album. Like that.
Look, if there's a thing of this week, they know how to produce the best out of every single album.
Mm-hmm. Probably, yeah. Which I wish I had more to say about it. I wish I had more time with it because I only listened to it once. I think was it earlier today, actually? It was either earlier today or like late Friday. I think it was late Friday. But yeah, I mean, this is definitely one I'm interested in returning to. Just didn't really have the time to give it a good listen, like a real good listen. But what I remember, what I heard was very solid. So
yeah, first of all, I want to say the intro track, I really like it. I enjoyed it. Wasn't like groundbreaking, but it was really, really nice to like have like a very nice relaxing opening that then turned into Stay of Slow Decay, which was very like, okay, this is in your face, but a very nice groove to it. It took me a second to get used to the vocalist because I wasn't. That type of screaming was very. It was very odd to me at first. And it took me. I listened to the song and I paused myself and I was like, okay, let's try this again. Let's listen. Because at first I was like, I hate this. And then I was like,
Awful.
why do I love this? And this is actually like really good.
Right.
Honestly, first 6 tracks, really, really nice time with. I just grooved with it the whole time. Pure Light of Mind was okay. Like, it wasn't like anything groundbreaking. It was more Hope chord style. I'm not a big fan of every Hope core song because I hear it all the time.
Right.
The Great Deceiver, excellent. In the Dark, excellent. I don't remember the last 3 songs, to be honest. But I want to go back to this because I had such a good time with it. I don't think look, with more time, it could easily be a top 30 album. I don't think it's immediately one of my absolute favorites of the year. I don't think it's gonna beat out a few of the other bands just because simply this isn't fully my style that I love to death.
Yeah, I agree.
But it's very good at what it does. And it brings back that early 2000s metalcore vibe that I do enjoy listening to occasionally. Like August Burns Red, As I Lay Dying. Going back to Bullet for My Valentine a little bit in there. This is more like Killswitch Engage as well. But honestly, though, I still had a really good time with this. I don't have as much to say as the other 3 albums this week. But I was happy with this being my first listen of In Flames and being like content with what I listened to rather than being like, okay, well, this actually kind of sucked.
Yeah.
Or this was just okay. So, yeah.
Yeah. I agree with all that. It's like it has me hooked enough to to want to go back to it. And that honestly, for a first listen of a band I've never heard before, of a band I've not been invested in, that's pretty good. That honestly beats expectations. So I'll take it.
Yeah. All right. I'm deciding the next one.
Okay.
I did see your tweet about this one, and so we're going to talk about Pierce the Veil and their album, The Jaws of Life. For a little bit of backstory, Pierce the Veil was a band that jumped in popularity just a little bit.
Just a little.
This is their 6th album. It clocks in at 41 minutes and 31 seconds with 12 songs. They went on hiatus in 2018 after Mike Fuentes, their drummer, had some sexual assault allegations against him, and he stepped down from the band. After that, they have a touring drummer currently, and they took a little break, but they are back with this album. And for me, I went in only ever hearing King for a Day. I've heard that song maybe 5 times in my life, and it's good. And it's in the playlist.
Yeah.
That's the only expectation I have of this band, and the expectations that have been set for me was that it was a very, very high-placed band. It was one of the most iconic bands in metalcore, in just the scene.
I mean,
if you knew Pierce the Veil, you were a member of the scene.
Yeah, I know of people that have heard of Pierce the Veil that aren't like necessarily into this. That aren't necessarily into much other than in this scene other than them type of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
And I don't think I've ever had a crash this quick. Because the first 2 tracks, they're good. It's like, okay, interesting.
Yeah,
and then Even When I'm Not With You is just a huge crash immediately. And then Emergency Contact is back up a little bit. I like it. It's nice.
I'm not huge on Emergency Contact either.
And then Flawless Execution sucks. And then The Jaws of Life is good. And then nothing else is good until 12 Fractures, the very end. This album just... I came in with these expectations set by Twitter and everybody else that, like, okay, it's Pierce the Veil. It's got to be good. It's got to be great. And I'm like, very generic lyrics, very bland sounds. It's the mix between heavy and light that doesn't work unless the vocalist is clean, like very soft spoken or very heavy spoken. And it's got to be one or the other. It can't be this mid that was... I don't know how to explain it. It feels like Architects, The Symptoms of a Broken Spirit, or whatever it was last year, where the album was okay, but the vocals were very and it didn't mesh with me personally. And as you put it on Twitter, this is an album that dropped in 2023.
Yeah, same. I believe my tweet was, this new Pierce the Veil album is definitely an album that released on February 10th, 2023. And that about sums up my thoughts on this. Like you said, Death of an... I actually do enjoy Past Nirvana, Death of an Executioner. Both solid songs. The chorus lines on Death of an Executioner, especially, I'm a fan of. I like that. Past Nirvana has a good groove to it, from what I remember. And past that, I could not tell you the differences between every other song here, aside from Resilience. I think Resilience is the only song I care of past the Nirvana.
Wow, I don't even remember that.
Nirvana, Resilience I actually like a good bit.
I enjoyed 12 Fractures because it had Chloe Mariando.
12 Fractures was okay. The feature was nice.
And funny enough, Chloe Mariando, I looked at the profile. Fans also like Tessa Violet, who I really enjoy. One of the few pop artists that I really enjoy, like alt pop, and absolutely love her and her style. So I was like, okay, I'm probably gonna like this track, and I did. So I was very happy with liking it solely because of the feature.
I will say it's a decent closer. I don't think it beats out the first two.
No,
but it's solid enough. The feature mixes things up enough that it stands out more than the rest of it. Which the rest of it are definitely songs that were made and produced and released. I think you bringing up Architects, the Architects album from last year is a very good example. And I would say that I do like this more than that Architects album. However, it suffers from the same issues, I think, of like every song sounds the same. And
the funny thing is,
and it's not like every song sounds the same and that every song is really like the thing that they're beating, the horse corpse that they're beating to death is like the most incredible stuff ever. It's just like, it doesn't even sound super, I guess, unique and crazy good.
I think I would rather take the Architects album over this.
That's fair.
Because I still like the grooviness and the riffs of Architects. Architects will never lose riffs. And
I will say that Architects does have good riffs. They have, and like New Moral Low Ground.
Yeah. Like, look, there are still some good songs on that album.
Right.
And there's still a really good band. But Sam's delivery of the vocals is just not that good, and maybe just has time to grow on me or something. But meanwhile, this, only a few songs maybe are good, and they're just very sappy post-hardcore songs. And I understand that post-hardcore is very okay, it's about a girl, yada yada yada, or breakup, whatever. But there are so many better ways to lyrically make an album actually interesting. And like I tried to listen to this more than twice, and I genuinely couldn't. Like, I'll listen to the songs I like. That's about it.
If I tried, whenever I would do something other than listen to the album while trying to listen to this album, I would like I would zone out and miss the end. Like
Yeah.
12 Fractions would play, it would loop around Death of an Executioner again, and I would be like, oh, the album finished. Or it would be on like past the Nirvana and be like, oh, the album is replaying itself. Like this.
Yeah. Yeah. I,
Um
I tried my best to stay focused on the album itself. Um,
yeah.
all right. Do you want to do Paramore or Delain next? Because,
Let's do Delain.
all right.
Yeah, let's do Delain.
So this is Delain's 8th album. This is Delain, which is Dark Waters, released
Yes.
with, it's technically an hour and 38 minutes, but it's only 48 minutes if you don't include all the instrumentals, which are basically the deluxe version and the piano version of the main single, The Quest and the Curse. This is the first album without the original vocalist of the band, Charlotte Wessels. In February of 2021, the members of Delain had disbanded, but the original maker of the band, Martin Westerholt, who was the keyboardist and some of the backing vocals, would continue to keep the project alive and bring in new members. The new vocalist is Diana Leah, who was born in Romania
Yeah.
but moved to Italy at 14. She was not part of any project prior to the new Delain. I am going to let you speak because I could talk for 20 minutes about this album.
Okay. Yeah, I'll get out. I'll do my stuff and get out of the way first. Um, I'm actually a lot higher on this than I initially expected to be. Wait, it's
I am very happy right now. I am so
yeah,
excited.
I'm actually significantly higher on this than I expected to be. You know my kind of my history with, I guess, the like these styles of like symphonic metal, symphonic
I
deathcore.
don't know your history.
Well,
What
no,
if
I
I'm a
mean
listener?
you kind of do. I've never been huge on like these symphonic metal like projects. The Epica project from last year, I didn't really care for. Lorna Shore, the symphonic deathcore, don't really care for. I just find that a lot of it blends together, a lot of it doesn't sound very interesting, a lot of it doesn't really stand out to me. This actually does something for me. And regardless of like, it's what is it? The first three tracks are all very nice. The first three tracks are very good. Um, a lot of them are bouncier, honestly, than I expected them to be, and I think that's some of my issue with other projects in the genre. Um, but like the Quest and the Curse has a great groove to it. Um, just like the sort of like chugging, like the sort of chug in the background of it. It's like especially in the intro and like sort of like throughout the background of the whole song is great. And all the singles off this are very nice. I enjoy all of them probably about equally. Um, Probably Beneath, if I had to choose a favorite, is probably my favorite. Um, which I don't know who this Paolo Ribaldini guy is. I don't think he's technically part of the band, but he's.
If he was a part of the band would be a 20 out of 10.
Oh yeah,
I
no,
am
like.
begging that this guy comes into the band eventually because he
Mhm.
needs to be a part of this band.
Yeah, no, because every song that he is a part of on here is very good.
Oh, 100%.
Um, like Queen of Shadow, I need to give the last couple songs on here another listen because I got cut off in the middle of my second listen to it. But er, you know, Beneath is great. Queen of Shadow, from what I remember, and Invictus are both have very similar upsides to what Beneath does. Um, and then like Hideaway Paradise, I love the vocals on this thing. Diana sounds great throughout the whole thing, but she, especially on this intro track, I think the melodies that she uses is captivating, and I like it a lot for that. Um, but it's just incredibly well produced. It, it's it has succeeded in making me care about a genre that I typically haven't cared about. So just for that, it gains
literally
some praise for
music to
me.
my ears. Just I am so happy. Okay. I am also as high on this as you are. I honestly probably higher.
You're definitely higher, but yeah,
Okay,
I
so
kind of expected you to be high on this.
I am so backstory. Pandora, I put in, I think, Red as my, like the band Red as my station. It brings me to Unleashed by Epica. Welcome to the rabbit hole. As Gloom in the Corner said last year, welcome to the rabbit hole, because that brought me into the symphonic metal genre. Brought me Epica, Delain, Nightwish, Camelot, whatever other bands showed up in there, but those were my main four that I found and loved. Delain being a heavy hitter on that. I loved Delain and Epica especially. Delain became a band that I just knew I loved. Some of the singles from the early days I could always go back and listen to, and I never really listened to a lot of the projects, but I listened to the singles, but I never listened to the albums until 2020 when they released Apocalypse and Chill. I listened to it, and I was really bored with it. I was really disappointed with it. And to be honest, I actually thought about it today, and I asked myself, why was I so angry at the time of release? Well, a lot of shit was going on in my life, and I wasn't happy. I was angry, and it didn't meet my expectations at the time. And I just said, fuck this album. This album sucks. It's my least favorite. I went back to it today. I really enjoy it, and a lot of the songs are as good, if not better, than I fully expected them to be. And it's a really, really nice project. I didn't know about their disbandment until a couple weeks ago when they announced the album.
We found out that Dark Waters was releasing.
Yeah, and I nearly had a heart attack at that point because it was new album. Wait, Charlotte Wessels is in the, wait, hold on. What?
The entire band broke apart. Oh God!
Wait,
Oh
hold on.
fuck!
Charlotte Wessels isn't here anymore. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I
Now we have
thought
this
the
new. Now
vocals
we have this
sounded
new
different. And honestly, look, out of respect, Charlotte Wessels is still one of my absolute favorite vocalists. Diana does not hold a candle to Charlotte, but is still absolutely incredible in this entire album, and makes Delain sound as if they did not move a single bit. If anything, they moved forward in their projects. The first, so Hideaway Paradise honestly didn't connect with me at first, but on second listen, it's so good. It just took me a second. Sometimes tracks take me a second or two to really fully encompass it. The Quest and the Curse, I've listened to quite a few times. It still hits as hard, but honestly, Beneath, oh my god, best song on the fucking album. Mirror of Night, Tainted Hearts, really, really good. The Cold, I wrote in my notes that singles shine on the first listen, but The Cold was a highlight in the first half. Honestly, sounds like Delain never left. After listening to the second half, it felt like the second half was a bit better than the first half, but not fully sure. I then went back and listened to Apocalypse and Chill. That was really good, and I went back and I commented that it felt as though their pianist or their keyboardist who remade the band after the disbandment had a lot of say in the previous incarnation of Delain in the songwriting and or the lyrics, because he kept the identity of Delain the same. He never changed it. If it was one of the other members, I honestly don't think it would have been as good. I am just... This is easily my favorite track so far this year. I've only listened to four albums this year. I wish Paulo Ribaldini would join the band already. Please join the band.
Can you just be a permanent member? Like,
Beneath, Queen of Shadow, and Invictus are the Moth to a Flame also kind of just hits.
It really does.
I don't remember if that's a single or not, but
it is. Yeah, it's actually the most played song on the album.
Oh, I just remember that. But honestly, though, this most definitely has, like, from first listen, I know that this is probably going to change in 6 months, but could easily be close to top 30, if not top 20 album contention. I think this is going to be on repeat a lot this year for me, at least some of the songs. I don't know if the whole album will be, but at minimum, I am so happy that I can still see one of my favorite bands. I wish I could still meet Charlotte in general, but unfortunately not in the band that I would love to go see. But no, sorry, I still want to see this band. I just want to meet Charlotte Wessels because she was drop dead gorgeous, and then she got her hair. I'm noticing the trend that every single woman that I find beautiful shaves her head. Because Charlotte Wessels shaved her head, Demi Lovato shaved her head.
Oh no.
Yeah, so I'm noticing a trend here.
Charlotte had very nice hair too.
Yeah, seriously. Like, young me was like, she is gorgeous. I love this band. That's why.
Only reason. But anyways, Paramore.
I would like to go fully into first.
Okay. Absolutely.
And then I'll let you go a bit more into it.
Mm-hmm.
I went through the discography of Paramore recently. Also, this is Paramore. This is why. I will say this is probably the one I'm most interested to hear your thoughts on. This is their 6th album. They broke up after their last album released and had a family emergency happen mid-recording of a music video, which is partially why they also just said, okay, we need a break. Back in 2020, 2021, they announced they were basically coming back. Also, Hayley Williams, the lead singer, I believe released 2 albums on her own, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. And I'd never listened to those, but I listened to all of the albums previously. And the last album they released wasn't that great. It wasn't that memorable to me. I honestly can't remember what was on it at this point. Probably because I've listened to way too much music and way too much is going on in my life. But they went for this indie pop style that really didn't mesh with me. And I think that's part of the problem. Is that I knew they were going to go down this route. And I had my expectations set at, okay, I'm probably not going to enjoy this, but let's see if I can start to like it even just a little bit. Mm-hmm. And God, out of 10 songs, 3 songs were likes, but only because they were just okay compared to the rest of it, which I just was despising listening to this, and I couldn't get through. This is why on the second listen, so I've only listened to this album once, and Pierce the Veil I would rather go listen to right now. I don't like this album. It's not my style. Look, Big Man Little Dignity and You First lyrically are cool. That's about it. But everything else to me is just very bland, very alt indie pop that it's blending three different sounds that don't work well when combined. All three: indie pop works, alt pop works, alt indie I guess technically works, but regardless, I am not a fan of this really at all.
Okay.
So I am gonna let you take the floor.
Okay. I enjoyed this I actually enjoyed this a good amount. I enjoyed this a lot. Um, I will start by saying that some of the track that a couple of the tracks on here are very not are not very good. Um, which actually the two of the singles, um, the news and C'est Comme Ça are I don't even are not good. I don't like them.
I'll
I
completely agree on that.
if I could cut both of those out of the album, I would be perfectly fine, and the rest can say. The rest of it is perfectly enjoyable. Um, this is why I think is a great opener. Kind of that you mentioned obviously like the indie rock, indie pop, alt pop type of influences that run throughout this record, and I think this is a great. I think this is a very very good, um, I guess showcase of that, of those influences. Um, Haley obviously sounds great. She's always sounded excellent on all her projects that I've listened to, but here I think she she sounds just as she always has. She sounds great. Lyrically, I mentioned the two songs that I'm iffy on already, but um I think overall lyrically this is actually very very solid, especially in the last three tracks. The last three tracks, Liar, Crave, and Thick Skull are easily the highlights. Are easily the highlights for this on this for me. Um, just it slows the pace down a little bit, which obviously it's not like their old more like pop punk stuff that's more of a running at a higher pace. It's already a fairly easygoing album, but it kind of takes even a little bit more off. I think it's better for it. Liars especially, or not liars, liar. Um, liar it sounds so layered, and it sounds incredibly well produced. And it's something that it's one of the songs on here that I could absolutely go back to anytime, any day. Um, Crave as well. Crave, some of the vocal metal, the kind of the very similar thing with Liar, but some of the vocal melody on this as well is honestly infectious to me. I think it's it's mainly the chorus, I believe that that I really enjoy. And Thick Skull is a great closer. It kind of leaves it's kind of almost an ominous way to close the album off, but I think it works super well. Um, I don't think it quite meets Liar and Crave in terms of like my favorite song on the record, but it's a very very solid way to end the album off. It just sounds incredible. It's incredibly well produced throughout. Um, there wasn't obviously I'm not I'm not a producer or anything. I'm not musically talented like that, but um, there wasn't anything that I found that I was like, damn, this sounds just awful. like,
Mm-hmm.
um, so yeah, I'm absolutely willing to give this more spins in the future because
I am I am kind of surprised by that one.
I think
That one
I
took me
tend to
off.
like those influences more than you do
Yeah,
overall.
I don't know what it is. I am
Mhm.
not like a indie person. Like I mean like look, I think Pool Kids has like indie pop punk elements to it that
Yeah,
I do
yeah.
enjoy and I really love that album. But
Hmm.
other than that, like this
Yeah,
is just like this wasn't my style. Also I thought of an idea
an idea.
for our episodes. Uh
Hmm.
at the very end of our reviews, which this will stay in.
Yeah.
At the end of our reviews, we'll just list out what we gave each one for an initial ranking for a number. Because I mean, I put mine in my document or in the document.
I
So
actually have a number for any aside from Paramore, honestly, yet.
yeah, no, I just thought of them quickly. So
Yeah.
but for
Actually,
me,
I think an interesting idea would be just like to rank them against each other. Just be like, all right, Paramore, Delain, In Flames, Pierce the Veil. They're not even necessarily attaching a number to it, just like how you would compare them to each other.
oh, okay. Paramore, Delain, In Flames, Pierce the Veil for you.
Yes.
Okay, mine would be Delain, In Flames, Pierce the Veil, Paramore. But in the end,
Is Paramore
basically,
going to be one of our ones that it's like, okay, it's going to be like, oh, one hates it, one loves it.
oh, the polar opposite? Yeah, that's probably going to be, unless this has a magical change in my life in the next 3 months that I don't tell you about, which I probably won't tell you about any of those magical changes. Because I can't wait for the shock to be like,
it's like, oh shit, it's actually it's on the list now. Wow,
yeah.
Paramore is a top 10 album for Evan.
Look, it would have to pull a Dayseeker Dark Sun, which that took 4 listens to really conclude that that was even very solid. Okay, so do we have anything plans for next week?
I don't
know.
think we do actually.
So
oh yeah, actually, hold on. Before we do that, we forgot something. We forgot a single. We forgot fucking Currents.
That was the week before.
No, it wasn't. It literally released the day before Immolation of Night. Shut up.
Okay, fine. Anyway, we did have one more single. We're gonna put this at the end.
I'm gonna gush about this fucking song because
Currents, remember me. For me, it's a really, really good song, and it's so much better than whatever the last single was, Vengeance, I believe. Yeah. It was like The Death We Seek, Remember Me, Vengeance.
At least Vengeance did grow on you, I think you said.
Yes.
Which I appreciate, because I honestly...
this first listen, 100% jumps right up there. Vengeance, though, seeing that live was so helpful. It made it really disgusting.
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely. This has about everything that I love in a Current song, and they're the reason why they're my favorite fucking band right now. They have been my favorite band for a while. It combines every aspect of this genre that I love. You got a sick breakdown. You got some cool riffs. Chris Wiseman, once again, one of the best fucking songwriters in the goddamn game. That riff during the first like that first part after that part after the first verse. I don't know if it's like I wouldn't call it a pre-chorus, but like where the first part where Brian starts screaming, the riff on that is fucking insane and gave me like massive Better Days vibes, which I love that song as well. And it's one of the best, one of my favorite riffs I think I've heard from them. The breakdown in the middle before the last chorus, with Brian doing the super low gutturals on that is one of the craziest breakdowns of the year so far. I love Brian as a vocalist already, and he sounds impeccable here as well. It has the emotional vibes, it has the heavy, it has the clean vocals. It's just got everything for me. It's perfect. I love it.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
So, once again, Currents continue. They're going to put out a 10 out of 10 album, and it's going to be number 1, and it's not even going to be close.
I can't wait for Currents to release a 9 out of 10 album and hit to be number 2 for him.
Shut the fuck up.
Okay.
Yeah, on release week when we record this, I am not going to shut the fuck up. it's
Oh yeah,
going to be bad.
yeah. Everything is
It,
going to be
it,
compared to Currents, and everything else is going to
yes,
suck compared to Currents.
yes. It's gonna be Currents. It's gonna be Invent Animate, and I'm not going to shut up. And it's
So yeah,
going
next
to
week.
be awful to listen to.
So next week we'll cover any singles, we'll cover any news that happen, any other albums that dropped that we didn't know about. Alan Harrington, thank you again on Twitter for literally saving us on half the time for like finding albums. SOTS Podcast, Sam Marcus, thank you for also giving us names. For next week though, if we have the time, we're going to cover all of the 3 Nirvana albums.
Yep.
Which for me will be really quick. We'll
Well,
cover.
we can make it a debate episode.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, we'll cover 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Green Day albums, a Stone Temple Pilots album, and then it's up to you, Mr. Parker.
Yes.
We have a Muse album that technically came out in 1999.
Ooh.
Would you care to listen to the first album from Muse? And to debate it next week, or would you like to save it for the early 2000s episode that we eventually do?
I mean, it's 90s, so I mean, I'll do it.
Okay.
But
we're saving Slipknot though, because that's a completely different jump. Because we have if we included that, we would miss out on Slipknot, Disturbed, Linkin Park, and Rise Against, all in the same area.
Right.
Which is like new metal and metal central.
Yeah.
Okay. So we will be covering Green Day, Nirvana, Stone Temple Pilots, Muse.
Well, as a certified Muse hater, based off of one album, we'll see how that goes.
Honestly, I genuinely believe that you will enjoy this album so much more than their latest album.
That's good.
It is not as it's alternative, but it's much more raw,
right?
Rather than like produced, which is what a lot of the last album was. And I think it's a completely different spectrum than what you're used to. And I think you'll enjoy it a lot more.
Okay.
I love it. It is an incredible album. A lot of people love Origin of Symmetry. I am not as big on it as other people are, but I love Showbiz more than Origin of Symmetry, which goes against the like popularity ratings of the 2 albums. So all right. Anyway, I hope everyone enjoyed episode 2 of the How to Survive a Breakdown podcast. We talked about some albums. And we talked about great albums, and we talked about albums.
Talked about pretty bad albums.
Yes, we did, and we have found our first Polar album of the year.
Yes.
We have to. Okay, wait, hang on. Before we end this episode, we have to think of an actual good name for this, because otherwise, Polar album sucks.
Yeah, it's kind of rough. I'm not, because I mean, it's probably the best way to describe it though.
Polar opposite. I mean, like it would be like
like
hot cold album.
No, that's not
hot and cold. Up and down, left.
No,
opposites.
This isn't.
Okay, you know what? Fine. Polar opposite albums.
If we come up with a better name,
we gotta keep account of this.
We can change it. So
we gotta keep account of this, because by the end of the year, we gotta see how many albums we are fully opposite on, and then what genre we are the most in common about.
Yes. Like which genres does Parker hate? Which ones does Evan hate? And vice versa.
We can figure that out really quickly. Ready?
Yep.
Post-hardcore is for you. Hardcore is
No,
me.
I thought post-hardcore was you.
No, I meant
You-
like
Oh,
hating.
in terms of hate. Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Post-hardcore is you. Hardcore is me. We agree generally on metalcore.
yeah.
Indie is me.
Mhm.
And then EDM, I guess, is you.
Uh,
A little bit.
I mean, I don't dislike EDM.
Just
I
you
don't
find it this kind of boring.
actually EDM was one of the main like freshman year of high school, sophomore year of high school. EDM was like the main thing I listened to. That's kind
Okay.
of what got me into music that wasn't but yeah, that was the first place I sort of really tried to expand my horizons when it came to music,
Gotcha.
actually. So I just want I know why you're bringing this up. It's that Keza record from
I think
last
of
year.
Keizo and Northlane.
Well, Northlane actually grew on me, but
Yeah,
Northlane,
Northlane grew on you more than it did me, but I
yeah,
still don't enjoy it as much as I thought I would.
it's not something I really go back to. But there's a few songs on there that I'm like, okay, yeah, I can vibe with this. Keizo,
Yeah.
I just don't think his style of music works with me at all. I never cared for like that like bro step, dubstep type of sound. Um, even when it's infused with rock and metal influences.
Yeah.
So, but
Um yeah, so we'll have I'm just looking at the numbers now.
mhm.
1, 2, 3, 4, 4-ish. Like 4 or 5 albums that are polar opposites next week.
Already,
Based on the numbers alone.
yeah.
Prior sorted shows all of something,
Oh,
something,
yeah,
and then maybe something else too.
yeah.
So
No,
anyway,
it's actually
I'm gonna cut
I'm
us off here
surprised
so that
I'm
we
so
can talk about
higher
this
on.
off air.
Yeah,
Anyway, thank you all for watching, and if you're listening to us on Spotify, 5 stars please. I would love it. It'd be great. And if you can just like, retweet, share this podcast, I don't care. Share it. Send it to someone. Put it on play. I don't care if you listen or don't listen. Just put it on play because it makes
maybe
us.
encourage them to listen, and
Okay,
it's
maybe
like
you should actually listen instead of just
we
not
would
listening.
prefer
If you've
people
made it
listen.
this far, congratulations. You actually made it pretty far into it. Yeah, we'll be better next week, I think. Probably not.
Ideally,
It's
we,
an ideal.
yes,
It's probably not going to happen though.
it's
Anyway,
probably not gonna happen. We're only 2 episodes into this shit. Like we haven't had enough time to develop yet. It's fine.
yeah, exactly.
Okay.
All right.
But
Thanks for watching, everyone, and as always, have a wonderful day.